In today's world, the art of silence seems to have been lost amidst the constant buzz of voices and opinions. But what if the moments we choose to stay quiet carried more strength than the times we speak? What if silence itself could be a powerful response? Stoicism, an ancient philosophy rooted in self-control, resilience, and rational thinking, offers profound insights on this matter. The founder of Stoicism, Zeno of Citium, wisely observed, "It is better to trip with the feet than with the tongue." This saying urges us to consider how many times we've regretted speaking hastily or out of anger. By learning to embrace silence, we align ourselves with a philosophy that values character and virtue above impulsive reactions. Through this video, we'll explore 9 crucial situations where choosing silence is not only wise, but transformative. From dealing with unfair criticism to confronting loss, each scenario offers a unique opportunity to grow and cultivate peace within. As we go through these Stoic lessons, ask yourself, how could practicing Stoic silence reshape the way you interact with others and improve your own peace of mind? Stay with us until the end of this video, and you'll discover practical Stoic principles that will help you live a life marked by serenity, strength, and deeper understanding. Don't miss the chance to learn how the power of silence can be your greatest ally in facing life's challenges. 1. When dealing with anger. Anger is a powerful emotion that can easily overwhelm us, pushing us to say or do things we later regret. In these moments, silence is not merely the absence of sound, it is an active decision to resist the storm within. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus advised, keep silent for the most part, and speak only when you must. This idea encourages us to use silence as a space to cool our tempers and reflect on the situation before reacting. Imagine a scenario at work where a colleague's mistake causes you extra hours of effort. Your first impulse might be to lash out in frustration. But before reacting, what if you chose to pause? How often have you regretted words spoken in anger? Reflect on these questions. What would happen if you allowed your silence to diffuse the situation rather than escalate it? Could this brief pause help you see the problem more clearly and lead to a constructive solution rather than an emotional argument? Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, once wrote, "How much worse are the consequences of anger than the causes of it?" His wisdom reminds us that while the initial cause of anger may be trivial, the aftermath of an angry outburst can be devastating, damaging relationships, reputations, and even our own self-esteem. In a world where reactive behavior is the norm, choosing silence is a form of resistance. It is a statement that we refuse to be controlled by our emotions. But does silence mean suppressing your feelings? No. The Stoics believed in acknowledging emotions without letting them dictate actions. By remaining silent in moments of anger, you are not ignoring your emotions, but rather giving yourself time to process them. This practice allows you to respond in a way that aligns with your values and the type of person you wish to be. Think of Nelson Mandela, a leader who, despite being imprisoned for 27 years, chose forgiveness over resentment. Mandela's silence was not a sign of weakness, but an inner strength that led a nation toward reconciliation. How could practicing Stoic silence in times of anger bring about positive changes in your relationships and even in the way you perceive your challenges? Next time you feel anger rising, remember that silence can be your sanctuary, a space where you can regain control and choose your response wisely. The calm response is often the most powerful one, turning potential conflicts into opportunities for growth. As we move forward, let's explore another situation where silence can be a wise choice. 2. Amid boasts. We've all been in situations where someone around us is boasting about their achievements, perhaps exaggerating their successes or trying to impress others. In such moments, the temptation to counter their bravado with our own stories is strong. However, Stoicism teaches us that true confidence doesn't seek external validation. As Marcus Aurelius advised, don't waste time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. When faced with a person who seems to be speaking just to show off, what if you chose silence? What might happen if you let their words stand without adding to the noise? Would remaining quiet reveal more about their need for validation than anything you could say? By not engaging in boastful conversations, you not only conserve your own energy, but also elevate your character. Silence in the face of boasts is a sign of inner assurance. It reflects the idea that you do not need to prove your worth to others because your actions will speak louder than any words ever could. This is a key principle in Stoicism, valuing substance over appearance. Consider how often you find yourself responding to someone else's success story with one of your own. What might you gain by choosing to listen fully, acknowledging their accomplishments with a nod or a smile, while keeping your focus on your own virtues and goals? Silence in these situations not only protects your honor, but also demonstrates that you are comfortable with your own achievements and do not need to compare yourself to others. As the Stoic philosopher Seneca once noted, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. The need to compete with others often stems from our own insecurities. Practicing Stoic silence amid boasts teaches us to overcome these insecurities by turning our attention inward. Instead of measuring our worth by the praise of others, we focus on our own continuous growth. Next time you encounter someone boasting, try listening without feeling the need to speak. Reflect on your reaction. Does their boasting stir something within you? What does your silence reveal about your own state of mind? Use these moments as opportunities to strengthen your character, reminding yourself that true achievement needs no announcement. 3. When criticized unfairly. Criticism is a natural part of life, and while constructive criticism helps us grow, unfair criticism can be challenging to deal with. It often feels unjust and personal, triggering a defensive response. Stoicism offers us a different approach. Silence as a tool for maintaining our dignity and inner peace. Marcus Aurelius wisely observed, "If you are pained by any external thing, it is not this thing that disturbs you, but your judgment about it." When we encounter unfair criticism, the true source of discomfort is not the criticism itself, but our interpretation of it. We have the power to change how we perceive these external judgments. Ask yourself, how might your response to unfair criticism differ if you saw it as an opportunity for growth? Could silence in these moments serve as a form of strength rather than submission? By choosing not to react, you refuse to validate the negativity aimed at you. This doesn't mean ignoring valuable feedback, but rather distinguishing what is useful from what is meant to harm. Imagine a scenario where you are leading a project at work and a superior harshly criticizes your approach without basis. The immediate urge might be to defend yourself, but instead of reacting defensively, what if you remained silent? How might this shift the dynamics of the conversation? Could your silence convey that you are unshaken, confident in your work, and open to finding constructive feedback within the criticism? As Epictetus said, If anyone can prove and show me that I think and act in error, I will gladly change it, for I seek the truth. In this spirit, silence serves as a space for discernment, where you separate the useful insights from the noise of unwarranted negativity. Practicing Stoic silence when faced with unfair criticism not only preserves your peace, but also communicates strength. It shows that your self-worth is not easily swayed by the opinions of others. The quality of your responses and the results of your actions will ultimately speak for themselves, far louder than any hasty words could. Reflect on a time when you faced unjust criticism. How did you react? Could choosing silence have changed the outcome? Share your experiences in the comments and consider how Stoic principles could help you navigate similar situations in the future. 4. When facing false rumors. Rumors have a way of spreading like wildfire, especially when they are based on half-truths or outright fabrications. In a world where information moves faster than ever, knowing when to speak and when to remain silent becomes crucial. Stoicism offers a simple yet powerful response: silence in the face of false rumors. This choice requires strength, but it can transform a challenging situation into one that highlights your integrity. Imagine you're a community leader or someone in a position of responsibility. Suddenly, you hear whispers and gossip about your character or intentions. The natural human reaction might be to defend yourself, to clarify the misunderstandings, and to confront those spreading the rumors. But what if, instead, you chose silence? What if you allowed your actions, rather than your words, to reveal the truth over time? The Stoic Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." In this context, choosing not to respond to false accusations shows that you are not swayed by the noise of the crowd. It demonstrates a commitment to focus on what is within your control: your actions, your character, and your dedication to your values. Reflect for a moment. How often have you seen someone try to fight every false story about them, only to see the rumors grow even louder? What might happen if you allowed the rumors to run their course without adding fuel to the fire? Can you imagine the sense of calm that comes with letting go of the need to explain yourself at every turn? Consider the example of a teacher in a small town who was falsely accused of misconduct. Instead of issuing a public statement or arguing with those spreading the rumors, she chose to remain silent, trusting that her reputation would speak for itself. Over time, as the gossip lost momentum and no evidence emerged, her silence became her greatest ally. This story illustrates the power of Stoic silence in protecting one's peace of mind and reputation. When you embrace silence in response to false rumors, you shift the focus from the accusations to your own actions and behavior. People begin to see the consistency between your words and your deeds. This approach aligns with the Stoic belief that we should focus on what we can control, our reactions and our virtues, rather than being distracted by what others think or say about us. If someone speaks ill of you, Epictetus suggests responding with silence or even a kind word, rather than defensiveness. He believed that reacting calmly to negativity could change the tone of the entire interaction. How might this approach alter your response the next time you hear someone spreading falsehoods about you? Could choosing silence or responding with calm kindness turn a potential conflict into a testament to your character? Reflect on a time when you were the subject of gossip or false rumors. How did you respond, and what might have changed if you had chosen to remain silent instead? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments. Your insights could help others facing similar challenges find their way through the noise. 5. How to deal with loss. Loss is a universal experience, touching every human life in some way, whether it is the loss of a loved one, a cherished relationship, or a significant opportunity. The silence that follows such a loss can feel both empty and overwhelming. However, Stoicism teaches us that this silence is not a void, but a space for reflection, acceptance, and growth. C.S. Lewis, a famous writer, once said, "The pain I feel now is the happiness I had before. That's the deal." This sentiment mirrors the Stoic view that loss and love are intertwined, that suffering is a part of the natural cycle of life. The Stoic philosopher Seneca wrote, "The day which we fear as our last is but the birthday of eternity." This perspective encourages us to see loss not as an end, but as a transformation, an opportunity to embrace the silence that follows and to find deeper meaning within it. Think about a time when you experienced a significant loss. Did you try to fill the silence with distractions or explanations? What if instead you allowed yourself to sit quietly with your feelings, to explore the depths of your grief without judgment? How might this change your experience of healing? The Stoics believed that accepting what we cannot change is key to finding peace. In moments of loss, this acceptance often comes in the form of silence, an acknowledgement that no words can change what has happened, but our response to it can shape our journey forward. By embracing the quiet, we give ourselves the space to reflect on what the loss has taught us, to cherish the memories, and to grow stronger from the pain. A powerful example of this Stoic approach can be found in C.S. Lewis's book, A Grief Observed, where he documents his journey through the grief of losing his wife. Instead of rushing through his emotions or trying to avoid them, he faced them directly in the silence of his own reflections. This aligns with the Stoic belief that hardships, including loss, can be transformed into opportunities for self-discovery and inner strength. But accepting the silence after loss does not mean isolating yourself from support. Stoicism also emphasizes the value of community in times of hardship. While we must find peace within ourselves, sharing our pain with trusted friends or a support group can be an important part of the healing process. How might you balance the need for silent reflection with the need for companionship during difficult times? As you think about your own experiences with loss, consider how practicing Stoic silence could change the way you navigate future challenges. How might this perspective help you find strength in moments when words fail? Let us know in the comments how silence has helped you cope with grief and what lessons you have learned along the way. 6. In encounters with ignorance. Ignorance can be frustrating, especially when someone clings to false beliefs with unwavering certainty. In such moments, it is easy to become irritated, to argue, or to try to correct them. However, Stoicism offers a different path: silence as a response to ignorance, allowing us to maintain our composure and focus on what truly matters. Imagine Galileo, the great scientist who championed the idea that the Earth revolves around the Sun. Despite facing fierce opposition and even imprisonment, he often chose silence over heated arguments. Galileo understood that truth does not need to be defended with anger or frustration. It stands firm on its own, even in the face of widespread ignorance. Marcus Aurelius, another key figure in Stoicism, wrote, "You have power over your mind, not over outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This idea invites us to focus on our own thoughts and reactions rather than trying to change the minds of others. When faced with ignorance, we have a choice. Do we allow their stubbornness to disrupt our inner peace, or do we choose to remain silent and let our own understanding be enough? Reflect on the last time you encountered someone who refused to listen to reason. Did you feel the urge to argue or prove your point? What if instead you chose to remain quiet, allowing their words to fade into the background? How might this choice protect your peace of mind and preserve your energy for more meaningful pursuits? By embracing silence, we demonstrate that we do not need others' agreement to validate our beliefs. This practice also aligns with the Stoic value of focusing on what we can control, our reactions, and our efforts to live virtuously. In doing so, we remind ourselves that the pursuit of truth is a personal journey, not a battle for others' approval. Consider how adopting this approach could change the dynamics of your interactions with others. How might choosing silence in the face of ignorance lead to a more peaceful life, where you are not constantly seeking to change what is beyond your control? Share your thoughts in the comments. How have you used Stoic principles in situations where others refuse to see reason, and what impact did it have on your own sense of peace? 7. Confronting injustice. Dealing with injustice is one of the most challenging aspects of life. It can evoke feelings of anger, frustration, and a desire to right the wrongs we encounter. Yet, Stoicism teaches us to approach such situations with patience and inner strength, using silence not as a way to ignore the problem, but as a way to focus on our response. Nelson Mandela is a powerful example of someone who embodied this principle. Despite being imprisoned for 27 years due to the injustice of apartheid, Mandela emerged as a leader dedicated to peace and reconciliation rather than revenge. His choice to focus on healing rather than retaliation reflects a deep Stoic resilience. Mandela understood that silence, when used strategically, can become a tool for profound change. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The best way to avenge yourself is to not be like that." This Stoic insight reminds us that responding to injustice with anger or retaliation often perpetuates a cycle of harm. Instead, choosing to remain calm and focused allows us to pursue more meaningful and constructive paths. But what does silence in the face of injustice look like? It does not mean accepting wrongdoing without question. Rather, it means taking a step back to consider the bigger picture, to plan our actions carefully, and to maintain our integrity throughout the process. Silence allows us to gather our thoughts, to respond with wisdom rather than impulsiveness. Reflect on a time when you faced injustice. How did you react, and what might have changed if you had allowed yourself a moment of silence before responding? How could this practice help you find more effective solutions that promote justice rather than escalating conflict? Choosing silence in the face of injustice can prepare us for constructive action, allowing us to address wrongs with a clear mind and a principled approach. It reminds us that our greatest strength lies not in how loudly we protest, but in how effectively we can turn our response into meaningful change. 8. How to handle insults with Stoic wisdom. Insults are designed to provoke a reaction, to make us feel slighted or defensive. The words may sting, and our immediate impulse is often to retort with a harsh response. However, Stoicism teaches us that insults only have power over us if we allow them to. Epictetus, a prominent Stoic philosopher, reminds us, if someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation. This insight encourages us to see that our reaction to insults is within our control, and by choosing silence, we deny the insult its intended effect. Imagine a situation where you are insulted by a colleague or a stranger. The words may be unfair or baseless, yet they are aimed at provoking you. How often have you regretted a heated response given in the moment? What might change if, instead of reacting, you chose silence? How could this choice affect the person delivering the insult? And how might it preserve your own inner peace? Mahatma Gandhi, who faced countless insults and opposition in his fight for India's independence, often responded with silence. His principle of ahimsa, or non-violence, parallels Stoic ideas of maintaining a calm and measured response. By choosing not to retaliate, Gandhi turned his silence into a statement of strength. His actions, not his words, demonstrated his resolve and commitment to his cause. When you encounter an insult, consider what responding would achieve. Would it change the person's mind? Would it improve the situation? Or would it only serve to fuel the conflict? Marcus Aurelius wrote, "How much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it." This quote serves as a reminder that the aftermath of a verbal conflict often causes more harm than the insult itself. By remaining silent, you shift the dynamics of the interaction. Your silence can disarm the insulter, causing them to question the effectiveness of their words. Furthermore, it allows you to keep your dignity intact, showing that you are not easily shaken by external provocations. Silence in response to an insult demonstrates a mastery over one's emotions, a core tenet of Stoicism. But does this mean we should always ignore insults? Stoicism does not advocate passivity in the face of all offenses. There are times when it is necessary to address wrongs, but even then, the Stoic approach would be to do so calmly and rationally, rather than reacting out of anger or pride. When faced with insults, it is wise to pause and consider whether a response is warranted or whether silence would serve a greater purpose. Reflect on your experiences. When was the last time you were insulted, and how did you react? What might have changed if you had chosen to remain silent? Share your thoughts in the comments, and let's discuss how practicing Stoic silence can transform our responses to life's provocations. 9. Navigating boasts with Stoic silence. Boasting is a form of self-promotion, often used to seek approval or admiration from others. When someone around us starts to boast about their achievements, the instinctive reaction may be to counter with our own accomplishments, either to validate ourselves or to shift the attention. Yet, Stoicism advises us to resist this temptation and instead practice restraint, recognizing the power of silence in such moments. Marcus Aurelius advised, "Don't waste time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." This quote urges us to embody our virtues quietly rather than proclaiming them. When we hear someone boast, choosing to remain silent reflects true confidence. It shows that we do not need to seek validation from others because our self-worth does not depend on external praise. Think about how often you find yourself in situations where boasting seems to dominate the conversation. Perhaps at social events or professional gatherings, there is always someone eager to share their success stories. How do you usually react? Do you feel compelled to match their tales with your own? What would happen if instead you simply listened? Could your silence speak to your contentment with your own accomplishments and show that you are grounded in your own values? By choosing not to engage in boastful discussions, you preserve your energy and focus on more meaningful interactions. You also demonstrate that you are not in competition with others. Rather, you are content with your own path. This approach aligns with the Stoic belief that we should prioritize our inner development over the pursuit of social approval. Our actions and character will eventually speak for themselves, without the need for verbal self-promotion. Seneca, another well-known Stoic, observed, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." This idea extends beyond material wealth to include recognition and praise. By embracing silence when others boast, we show that we do not crave constant validation. Our contentment comes from living according to our values and pursuing personal growth rather than seeking applause. Reflect on a time when you chose not to respond to someone's boasts. How did it make you feel? Did you find that the conversation naturally shifted to deeper topics? Or did you notice that your silence allowed the other person to continue without your need to compete for attention? Share your experiences in the comments below. Practicing Stoic silence amid boasts is not a sign of passivity, but a demonstration of strength and focus. Throughout our journey, we have explored 9 scenarios where choosing silence is not a sign of weakness, but an exercise in wisdom and inner strength. Whether dealing with anger, unfair criticism, false rumors, loss, ignorance, injustice, insults, or boasts. Stoicism teaches us that silence can be the most profound and transformative response. By embracing this practice, we learn to maintain our tranquility, focus on what is within our control, and let our actions speak louder than words. Silence is not merely the absence of speech, but a deliberate choice to respond with thoughtfulness and virtue. It serves as a powerful tool for self-discipline, allowing us to act in alignment with our values and cultivate inner peace. Through the practice of Stoic silence, we find the strength to navigate life's challenges with grace and resilience. As we conclude this discussion, I encourage you to share your thoughts on Stoicism and how the power of silence has impacted your life. Have you found that remaining silent in certain situations has led to unexpected growth or resolution? Leave a comment with your insights, and let's continue this conversation together. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe to our channel for more Stoic teachings, and share these lessons with others who may benefit from the wisdom of Stoicism. Thank you for joining us on this journey, and may you find peace and strength in the quiet moments of life.